Hi everyone, today we will be going with the SystemVerilog Polymorphism. So basically, if you see poly means many and morphism is like taking many forms. So let's say that we have a base class and we have one more child class. So in polymorphism, what happens is the base class can call child class methods. Let's say inside the child class, you have some display function. I'm just considering a method with the display. And even though base class is also has the display method. So here, let's say that the condition for polymorphism is to satisfy is two things. The one is the whatever the base class method. Let's say here we have the display and in the child class method the function name should be the same, meaning the method name should be same. And another is like, let's say here in the base class the virtual should be there. Whatever the methods you declare in the base class, that has to be has with the virtual. And let's say how you will be using it inside some module. Let's say we have module top tb, and let's say I'm considering base class b and child class c. So you will be assigning the handle, like these are the B and C are the handles of the base class as well as for the child class. So now what we do is B equals to C. Let's say before assigning, let's say we have some memory allocation, like the object memory is created. So C equals to new. So here object memory is created. Let's say you have an object and some with the new method, we will be creating the memory for this one. And whatever the value you will be assigning or writing in the function, right? Those will be assigned. So here with B equals to C, what is happening is like even though B will also points to the C. So that is how like the base class will call the child class methods. So let's say here I will be using some B dot display, right? So so what happens is like the method whatever we are calling, like here b dot display. So display, even though here we have the same child class as well as the base class we have, but here if you see the memory is created for the C, and B will be also pointing to the same memory whatever the C has created. That is how we will be saying that the base class methods will call the child class methods. So consider an example here. We will be executing on the EDA playground. Let's say our class name with the base class, and class will be adding, and let's say that we have the display method here. So like function void, and as we know that the virtual keyword has to be added, and let's end this function. And inside this we'll be adding some display methods, like we'll be calling this display. Let's say that we have the base class. So let's say that we have another class with a child class that is extend. Let's say we have a child class A that is extends from base class, and let's add this as a child underscore A. And same way we have the other class with the class B. Like we will try to add more base classes. Let's say here we have B and here we have a C. Let's add with the B, and so we have created three classes that is extended from the base class with single base class. So let's add a module top TB. It's normally we just say this the TB, and end module will. So inside that we'll be adding, just scroll down. So here let's say that we have the base class b underscore a and b underscore b and b underscore c. For the single base class will be having three different forms, like whereas the child class A will be having C underscore A, and child class B So here we have the B and we have the C. So let's create a memory for them also. Like, let's add initial will begin and so here we'll be creating the C underscore A equals to new, and same way for B and C. So now let's add, meaning let's add assignments. Like here B underscore A will be assigned with C underscore A, and B underscore B is assigned with C underscore B. Same way for B underscore C will be assigned with C underscore C. So now let's call this base class like B dot display. So we'll be calling this display method. Let's let's go with the auto B and then C. So we have created the object for child class and we are assigning. This is the one polymorphism here. This is like this you can say polymorphism. So just save. Okay. Select the EDA playground and run it. See here you are trying to call the base class, but still you got the child class methods. Here like whatever the child class A, child class B, child class C, these are getting executed. And now let's add some variables here. Let's say you have an integer type A and integer type B will be having some, let's try to add some values here. So before calling here like display method, like let's update this C dot A equals to, let's add some value with the 100, C dot B with some small number, small, let's say we have added 1 4. So now copy paste for B. So B and C. So let's add for B we'll be adding 200 with the 2, and for C we'll be adding 300, and let's add at 3. And before going to that, let's we will be adding some base class values. Let's say we'll just update it with the B dot B underscore A dot A. Let's say we'll be having some 400, and B B underscore A dot B with 4. So now let's see what happens. So you have added the values like the properties of the child class will be 100, 200, 300. So here you are assigning the base class. Okay, sorry, we have missed adding the int a, b, c. So let's have a equals to percentage 0d and b equals to percentage 0d. Just add this a comma b, a comma b. So copy for all the things. So let's, this is the child class child a, child b, child c. So so we are assigning the values 100, 200, 300, and for base class. See here, if you see like the value initially we have updated child class A 100 and 1, but we are getting the value 404. This is because we are updating the base class with A, B, and we are pointing to the child class here B comma C, like sorry, B underscore A equals to C underscore C. This is what the polymorphism says. Like let's consider here, I'm trying to say that you have created three child classes with the different objects. So here, let's say that you have this child A, child B, and child C. The objects are created. So initially it has 101, and this is 202, and this is 303. But here in the last section, like we have added B dot A equals to 400 and B dot B with 4 we have updated. So this B will be pointing to child class A, and you are calling the methods. So here this 400 comma 4 we will be getting the output. So 400 and 4. This is the polymorphism. And one more thing I wanted to add here is like I forgot to remove this virtual from the child classes. Now let's remove this child class virtual method. So and we'll see the output what it says. So as of now there is no impact, meaning even though it is okay, we will get the same outputs like uh, this one. Like here we saw this earlier. Like earlier also we saw the same thing. Like child class will be having the value of A with the 400, B as a 4, and similarly for the values of A for the child class, B will be 200 and B is for 2. Similarly for the say. So now let's remove this virtual from the base class and see what happens. So we have removed this virtual from the base class and see. So here, like whatever the values we are updated, like this will be going with the base class only. Even though we have updated the values in the child class, like initially we updated with the 100 for the A class and for 200 for the B class, but still we are getting the base class only. So this is how, like why this happening is, like in our child class object, whatever we created, like these B will be like B underscore B will be pointing to this child class B. So here that's why we are getting the values of A and B are updated from the child class. So this is the polymorphism, one important step we can consider. And let's add one more example. Like this is the one normally will be in the interviews. They will be asking the question is like what is the output from the below SV code? Like what is logic behind? Let's say that we have added. So let's say that there is a parent class. We will be having the property I, and that is extended, meaning the child class will be extended from the J. Sorry, the child class will be extended from the parent class, and it has the property int with J. So now we created the objects for both the class, like this time separate. Like in the previously, we have not created any new method for the base class. Now we have created the parent class one. So let's add the values like p dot I will be 3, c dot j will be 5, and now you are assigning this p equals to c, meaning parent class will be assigned with the C child class. So whatever the parent class will be having, it points to the C class, and then they updated the value P dot I equals to C. So P dot I, the value of parents will be pointing to child class, and now they will be asking like what is the output, meaning C dot I equals to some C dot I value and C dot J. So here the value, let's say let's save and run it. So there is no impact on this C dot J, and P dot I will be referring to C dot I, since the value will be pointing to, meaning the base class will be pointing to the child class. So here C dot J will be 5, C dot J will be 5, and this C dot I is updated with the parent class. Similarly, in our example, like we are updated with the base class values, those kind of things we as we have earlier seen. So this is the one like in the interviews they may try to ask you these kind of questions also.